Hey guys, welcome to At Humankind, the voices, the vision, the vibe. Just so you know, we are building a community here in Sedona, Arizona for like-minded individuals to come meet in a safe space, share their gifts with one another, and just explore spirituality. Today we have a special guest, Jennifer Spencer, medium and intuitive coach.
Hi.
Hi, welcome.
Thank you. See you.
Good to see you as well. So how did you find out about Sedona and Humankind?
Okay, well, that's a kicker to start us off. Sedona is such an interesting place, right? Because one of the beliefs about Sedona is if you're meant to be here, you'll be here.
Of course.
And so a few years ago, I'm originally from Toronto, and a few years ago, I had felt this calling to come and visit. And it was one of those moments where it was an inflection point where I just knew there's something happening here. I need to come back. And so I kept coming back over and over. And there was a day where I was actually driving in the car with a girlfriend of mine, and I had a vision. I think I'm supposed to have a house here. And I had no idea how I was going to make it happen, no idea what it was going to look like, but I just knew. There was a feeling inside of me that I just knew. And fast forward 2 years later, I ended up buying a house with my partner, Steve, here in Sedona.
Beautiful.
And it has been such a portal of inspiration for us just to create, to connect more deeply with spirit, to open to our gifts, and just to be in communities like this. John has been such an amazing connection for us. And I love being in places where we can gather and feel that safety to actually open up and not feel scared about being too out there or too woo-woo or too crazy, right? This is the place in Sedona where you can do all of it and nothing is too weird.
That's why I love being in Sedona, is just being able to meet people like you and like-minded individuals. And
Yes.
just people from all over the world always coming in and sharing their gifts. And I just feel so blessed to be here and
Yes. Likewise.
meet people, to be able to learn more about all these gifts that we're able to learn and grow from.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about the gifts that you have come into and are offering now.
Yeah. So I'm a medium and an intuitive coach. And really what I'm here to do is help people realize and recognize their purpose. And ultimately that the answers that we're all looking for is literally sitting inside of us.
Yeah.
And I stepped into my gifts as a medium actually as a result of my mom passing away 15 years ago. Wow. And I remember that moment when I had started to grieve her passing, and I realized and really wanted to know, like, where is she? Where has she gone? If she's not here, but I can still receive signs from her, where is she?
Yeah.
And I was getting all of these signs and synchronicities of messages from her, knowing that she was sending these to me, but I didn't know how or where exactly she was.
Yeah.
And
What kind of signs would you experience from her?
so I would see very specific things. So the exact car that she drove, a black Jaguar. I would see the exact car she drove, like pulled up against the driveway by my house. I would see her name on license plates, her exact initials, things that are so beyond coincidence that you can't make these things up. And I remember thinking to myself, I want to know more about where she is. And so I started studying. I started going to people who were teachers and mediums themselves. And they started to teach me how to start to really hone in that connection with her. And I remember realizing in that moment, if I can connect with someone who is just in another frequency right now, what else am I capable of doing, right? Like, what else is out there that I don't actually know? And that then launched me more deeply into my spirituality. So I started to I went to a school called Delphi, which is a spiritual school where you learn how to channel and about energy and all these amazing, cool things that we do here in Sedona. And I just went deeper and deeper. And then I realized it was time to leave my corporate job. So I left and I finally claimed myself as a spiritual medium. And then I got to start helping women to do the same thing and step into their gifts and whatever purpose they have here on this planet.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I remember reading an article back in the day too so when we pass, a lot of us think that when someone passes in our life, they are now disconnected from us. But I remember reading this channeler wrote an article about how when we pass, we're actually waking back up from the dream. So
Yeah.
like basically this is the dream.
Yeah.
And when we pass, we're with each other the
Yeah.
whole time.
Yeah.
So there's like this illusion of disconnection or distance
Yeah.
when someone passes. But sometimes when someone passes, we're actually closer to them
Totally.
and with them already in spirit.
Yeah.
Too.
Totally. Totally. I think it's, you know, one of the things that I've been able to do with my mom on the other side is actually heal the relationship I had with her. So
Yeah.
her and I had a really challenging relationship when she was here. And with space that I've now had from her, there's something really beautiful and healing about being able to know that you're still connected,
Yeah.
but actually be able to see who you are and see who they are and separate yourself from them. But I totally agree with you. I think that we are, they're just in a different frequency that we can't see, right? It's like tuning a radio. They're still here. They're just on a different frequency. And if we're willing to open our awareness to tune the radio,
Yeah.
we can hear all of the messages.
Yeah. I had an experience like that with my childhood dog growing up. And, you know, he was a dog, so I couldn't really communicate with him.
Yeah.
And when he passed, before he passed, he would always sleep around by my legs. And when he passed that night, I saw a blue light right where he used to sleep.
Wow.
And I would also get like so many signs and synchronicities from him.
Yes.
And I felt on some level closer to his spirit.
Yeah.
Rather than, you know, his dog body when he was here.
Yeah. I love
And,
that.
and so do you feel more connected with your mom now?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And it's been actually really cool because what I've also learned is, and this is such a message of humankind in general as well,
Yeah.
is that when we are willing to fully embrace who we are and what we know, right? So when I started getting those signs from my mom on the other side, I started sharing it with my sister, my brother, and my dad. And what was really cool is my dad, who's a type A accountant and like would never believe in this stuff,
Right, yeah.
started seeing signs too.
Wow.
And so what I love is that we can start to, when we really fully open without fear, without like the fear of judgment, we actually allow other people to feel safe to then step into their knowing as well. So it's been such a beautiful journey of healing, but also witnessing that love that is unconditional, that's with us all the time.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And in comparison, you know, like your relationship with her when she was here, you know, like when she was here, do you think that she would have, is there like similarities in the personalities of when they're here and when they pass? Or do you feel like there's a more evolved version of spirits,
Yeah.
you know, when they are?
So one of my spiritual teachers told me at one point in time, she said, you know, when we imagine our loved ones on the other side, we imagine them as they were here, right? We imagine them like she's up there with her blue and white t-shirt and her blue jeans and
Yeah.
her white shoes. But one of the things that I've learned is that because everything is energy, it's infinite, right? And so
Right.
what happens when we pass is we ultimately go back to source. We go back to where we ultimately came from. And that's just energy. That's just love.
Yeah.
And so it's easy for a lot of us to imagine that they're in the same form because as humans, we like to put things into logic, right? Well, if they were here now in this form, then they must be up there in the same form. But that's actually not true.
Yeah.
And so what we're tapping into is the energy, the frequency. And what I've learned is that when we get that space from them, we can see the bigger picture. We can actually see that everything comes back to love and we can heal the parts of us that couldn't see that when they were here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did have an interesting question too, just because I grew up really interested in ghosts
Yep.
too, and
Yeah.
like haunted places.
Yep.
And I myself have felt, you know, I've been around a lot of like haunted buildings, houses I've grown up in and stuff. And I've read a little bit about, so when someone passes, maybe if it's a more traumatic experience,
Yep.
they tend to be more earthbound.
Yep.
Have you come across that aspect of the spirit realm or mediumship where you've come across beings, say, that like maybe need help kind of making their way to the other side?
Yeah.
Or?
Yeah, for sure. So I think the biggest thing that, you know, we fear is the idea of death, right?
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest fears that humans in general have in common, but yet we're all going there. And so I think that when a soul is ready to make that transition, right, there's always this consistent knowing of like, there's this tunnel and you start to go down the tunnel. And there's a fear that when we go to the other side, we've missed our chance to do what we're here to do as humans.
Yeah.
And so oftentimes we get stuck. We get stuck in between. It happens a lot with people that have committed suicide or people that have had like really traumatic deaths in actually registering that they're no longer here. And so oftentimes we have to help those souls to move to the other side, because ultimately when we cross over, the work isn't completed, right?
Yeah.
This is a big misconception, is we think that if when we die, whatever was here is no longer. We can just move on to another lifetime, but we're carrying those same lessons forward. And so one of the biggest things is like, my mom is still up there doing her work. She's just learning in a different way so she can then step into a new life and continue those lessons that she wasn't able to do here.
Yeah.
And so it's really just helping souls to know that the journey is always continuous, and to remind them that even if you didn't fulfill the life you were thinking you were here to fulfill in this one, you can keep learning and growing as you go.
I love that.
Yeah.
And still learning from the experiences.
Exactly.
In the physical realm.
Yep.
Wow.
Totally.
So I also wanted to ask, is there some symptoms that come along with mediumship, and like, you know, what were your experiences kind of coming into it? Like, you were just heightened sensibility of energies around you? Did you see orbs?
Yeah.
Hear sounds?
So with mediumship, really, I believe that everyone is a medium, right? And so there's this big misconception that mediums are the people that they have special gifts and there's only certain people on this planet that can be a medium. Yeah. Everybody is a medium, because ultimately you are a channel into source, right? That's what you're doing. And so what I always will teach people that are skeptical about that is that mediumship is really tuning in through your senses. So we have our senses, our ability to see, hear, feel, know. What you're doing is you're tuning into those clairs. So for me, I often get clairaudience, which is I can hear the sound of either spirit or people from the other side or my spirit guides. I can hear them telling me things, and I know it's not my voice. Some people will just feel things, right? So you'll just feel like, I know they're here. Yeah. Some people will have them in dreams, right? That's another beautiful way to get guidance from the other side. But for me, it was always the ability to hear. I've always been very attuned to sounds and things around me, and always just on high alert of like what's going on. Yeah. And I'll always tell people that whatever your dominant sense is typically your gateway in. Yeah. And then you're always fine tuning from there to keep opening up to the additional gifts that you can see, feel, hear, know, spirit.
And would you say kind of fine tuning those senses for you, is it just kind of over time using the sense and kind of leaning into it, it kind of amplifies? Or do you have practices in place that can help people maybe develop those senses?
Yeah. So I will always tell people your intention is everything, right? So if you want to receive a message from somebody, you have to ask. That's the biggest thing that we're missing, a lot of us, is, well, I want to receive signs from my mom on the other side. But are you asking her? Are you asking and being open to receive? And what I'm learning is like, it's all about curiosity. So the more you can be curious, even when you're around people in a room, in a space like Humankind, when you walk into a room, can you be curious about what people might be feeling, what you can sense, what the subtle energies are of people as you walk around a room? Those are the same gifts you're using when you talk to someone on the other side, or when you talk to spirit, or when you receive downloads from your spirit guides, right? Yeah. It's the elevated sensitivity and your ability to actually feel and open your heart to receive.
I love that. And I'm also curious too, so you help women, or you work predominantly with women. Yeah. Is there a reason for that? Is it like, I know women are obviously a lot more, I mean, to me, intuitive. Yeah. We have, not to put men down, but, you know, we do have a gift, and that is our womb. Yeah. And, you know, we have quite literally a portal that we are connected, you know, through the spirit realm. And so we do, on some level, have a different connection, maybe a thinner veil. Yeah. So do you like when you're working with women, have you noticed any kind of like blockages in tapping into their senses?
Yeah.
Like, what are those blockages and like how, say like if I wanted to be clairaudient and I meditate all day and I really try to tap into nature sounds and everything like that, and it still just isn't coming forward.
Yeah.
How can like someone really tap in and kind of break through the barriers of that veil?
So for me, it's always been the message of like, do you believe that you can do it? Right? Everything comes back to the power of our belief. Do you believe that you can do it, or do you not?
Right.
It's either black or it's white in that form, right? And so when I work with women, a lot of the women that are coming to me are women that feel they don't have it in them. They don't know what their intuition is. They don't know if they have the ability to see things or know things. I'll often talk to women that are mothers, and they'll say, I don't think I'm intuitive. And I'll say, well, tell me how you're intuitive with your child. And they'll tell me all these amazing synchronicities and how they just knew that their daughter or their son needed something.
Yeah.
And we're forgetting that intuition is actually just, it's so much more simple than we're making it out to be. And so the block is often actually ourselves. It's our inability to see and know that we're way more powerful than we realize.
Yeah.
But we have to believe that we have that gift, and everyone does. And so for me, it happened during an inflection point when I lost my mom. It can happen to people when they lose their job or when they get divorced or when they have these big disruptive moments where they have to start to look within and go, what am I really doing here? Like, what do I want with my life? And that's usually the thing that catalysts people to see the block and then start to step more fully into their purpose and uncover the gifts that they're here to share.
Amazing. And would you say, because I saw on your Instagram that you also do sound bath journeys?
Yes.
And so do you feel like that correlates kind of into helping people tap into those gifts in ways? Yeah.
Totally. I think music is a frequency, right? And the frequency is like, it's the sound of our soul, it's energy. And so what I love about sound baths is they bypass our thinking mind. And so when you're operating at a beta brainwave state, which is the quickest state of brainwave activity, and then you start to listen to certain tones and frequencies, that brainwave activity slows down. And when you're in that delta or theta state, that's when you're in a very slow state of brainwave activity. And that's when your intuition comes online. And so we use it as a tool. We work with corporate teams. We do sound baths here at Humankind. We do a bunch of different stuff. But it's really to help people to slow the thinking down so that they can feel and they can then get that wisdom that's sitting within them.
I love that.
Yeah.
And also I was wondering, is there a reason you specifically work with women, or like have you had an experience that kind of brought you to that decision of wanting to predominantly work with women?
Yeah, it's a great question. When I started doing this work, I very much opened myself to spirit and said, show me who needs to be here and show me what people need my help.
Yeah.
And it's always just happened to be women. And so I do think that, there are incredibly conscious men in this world.
Of course. Yeah.
But there's a lot of women that are really seeking and searching for those answers.
Yeah.
And I think that we are the people that are here to really open those gates up and help also men to feel safe that they can do the same thing.
Yeah.
But it happens to be that women, I find, are just a little bit more open to exploring. And I think men they're there too, but sometimes there's a fear because of societally, like what we've projected onto the roles of men and women.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. And I also just was curious, did you have any mentorship? Like, was there any books that you recommend or kind of courses you've taken, or was it just kind of like a organic, like natural happening within you when your mom passed? Like, was it just something that kind of started to come up and then you sought out other avenues of maybe diving deeper into it? Or
Yeah. So I always tell people, when you walk the path of spirituality, you're really just following the breadcrumbs to the next thing. Like, no journey looks the same for any person, right? If you had 100 people in a room, not one person's journey would look like another's in its same form. And so for me, it was always a matter of meeting different people, getting just different guides along the way. So meeting someone who already knew how to tap into the energy of the other side, I started working with that person. And then I was led to a place called Delphi University, which is in Georgia. And that's really where I got a lot of my training of mediumship and channeling and energy and all of the different things that I've kind of amalgamated. And then a lot of it has also honestly been therapy. So I've been in therapy for 20 years. And in therapy, you learn a lot about yourself.
Yeah.
And what we're here to teach is actually our life experience. So the biggest teacher you will ever have on your spiritual journey is your own life experience. And so I always tell people, you can do all the training you want. You can do all the breath work and Reiki and sound healing. But the biggest teacher is going out there, making a mistake and learning from it and course correcting. And then tell me how you did that.
that's the best way I learn.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I just have to screw everything up, and then I know what not to do.
Yeah, you will learn from that moment of pivot, and then you will do something different, right?
Yeah.
And that's how we build our resilience. That's how we build our ability to really lean in when we're in those moments of desperation. That's where we ask spirit, like, I surrender. Show me what I need to do. Show me what I need to see, right? So it's been a combination of trainings at places like Delphi, but also just my own journey and pulling out the threads of what I realized got me where I was and how I got curious about stepping into my purpose.
I love that. And then I wanted to know kind of, what do you do for like spiritual hygiene on a daily basis? Do you, just to kind of keep those channels clear and open?
It's a great question. So I do think there's a lot of hype around people believing in like negative energies and all this stuff. I believe that every energy is just energy, whatever you make of it. But given the volume of people that I'm working with on a day-to-day basis, one of the most beautiful ways that I do it is through water. So whenever I finish a session or I work with someone, I'll either just go wash my hands, because your hands are actually a very powerful channel to energy.
Yeah.
If I have a shower in the morning or at night, I'll just imagine the water just going over my body and clearing out anything, almost like you're rinsing all of that yucky energy down the drain.
Yeah.
And meditation. Like, meditation has been one of my biggest tools to clear the limitation of my mind, to let go of anything that doesn't belong to me, and just to stay in that frequency of like the highest source, the highest energy for all, is really what I'm here to help people do and find.
And would you say a part of that too is like the kind of people you keep around? Like, are you very selective?
100%.
And like you're,
Yeah. I think what I'm learning is the more you walk the spiritual path, the smaller your circle actually gets.
Yeah.
Because you start to realize that not everyone is here to awaken to the same level of understanding.
Yeah.
And it just becomes hard to be around people that drain your energy. And so you become more protective of using your energy like a battery for the highest good, and then letting it recharge when you're not needing it, right?
Yeah. Have you had to an experience in mediumship where other people around you kind of noticed something peculiar happening? Like, I heard that you said that like kind of like when you're tapping into that energy, the people around you kind of, like, the energy kind of bleeds out and reaches the people around you. Like, have there been experiences that maybe were just like so out there that like maybe someone else couldn't shrug off either? Or like, say with your clients, maybe like a non-believer or something like that, and they were like, oh wow, like there is spirits on the other side.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and they are there and
Yeah.
want to communicate with us.
Yeah. So I was actually on a podcast a few months ago, and the woman that was interviewing me was actually just very spiritually curious.
Yeah.
And she has a whole other podcast that's about helping people find love. And so she brought me on, completely random guest of all the people she typically works with. And we were talking, and she asked me how I started getting into mediumship. And I was talking about my mom, and I was talking about how my mom always shows that she's here in some way or another. And she started to talk about her husband's mother that had passed away. And she said that the name of her husband's mother was Sandy. And that's the name of my mom.
Oh, wow.
And so it was this crazy moment, like I'm having chills right now, where we had this moment of like, oh my God, they're both here. Like they're literally here.
Oh, wow.
And it was
Feel
like,
like we
we
have the
were
same
crying.
name, guys.
Yeah, we were crying. And it was just this, that's the one podcast that I get booking after booking of people that want to do readings, because sometimes spirit just surprises you in the most amazing ways, right? And you can just be in awe of it yourself. And so I love when moments like that happen, because those are the moments that help us to believe that this stuff is actually real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do want to also get really into what it is you offer, how people can find you, how people can book with you. So what are all of the things that, or all the gifts that you offer that say someone, you know, can find you through here and come to you and kind of choose what it is that maybe aligns with them?
Yeah. So I really, my mission is to help people step into their purpose. So I typically work with people. I do one-to-one readings. So all of my work has actually come through my Instagram channel, Jennifer Spencer Medium. And people will book a session and we'll just dive into something. So typically it's people that are looking to change their career path or step into their spiritual gifts. It's people that are navigating challenge like divorce or wanting to find love. And they're really looking for those tools beyond psychotherapy that can help them to understand energy, understand how things work. And so that's really one category. And then I also do group work. I believe very much in group work and helping people. There's so much power in helping people heal and grow through groups.
Yeah.
And
would you say kind of like through workshops or like say like a family dynamic?
Yep. So we do workshops. So we're running a course in September called Pivot to Purpose. We've got an intuition course. And then we also run a meditation club. So it's 2 times a week. We meet live for 30 minutes. And we drop in. We basically get all our wisdom that we need for the week on Mondays and Wednesdays. And all of it's on my website, pauseandexpand.com, and then my Instagram channel. But it's really about helping people to evolve, to really do that. And that's done through all those different ways.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Aw. And would you say you work more with kind of like what age groups of women, or just kind of all encompassing age groups? And do you notice a difference in the new generations kind of coming in and, you know, like the heightened senses that they are already kind of coming into the earth with?
Yeah. So interestingly, my market tends to be older. So they're actually typically between the ages of like 45 to 65.
Okay.
But a lot of the sound baths that we do are often geared to younger audiences. And we do a lot of corporate work and work with young tech companies and people that are in organizations where their teams are really wanting to support them in the well-being space.
Yeah.
And what I'm learning is how fast those individuals can tap into it. Like it's very quick.
Yeah.
We'll tell them the science, they get their headphones on, we go in virtually, and they'll ask the most incredible questions of like, what does this mean? I saw these colors. I felt like I saw someone that had passed away, and it's all just unprompted. And it's because they're really open to receive. Whereas the women that are in the 45 to 65, they're trying to undo patterns that they've had. So they're trying to unlearn a lot of the thinking of logic and judgment and all of those things. And so it's a different type of guidance, but equally both super powerful.
Amazing. Yeah, I'm super into the spirit realm, and even when I was a kid, I would take pictures of haunted houses, and
Oh,
I would
wow.
see an outline of like a girl's head, or like you could kind of see like a spirit in that way. Have you captured anything, or just not yet? Or
No,
like,
but we did have a teacher at Delphi where I trained, and she would go and she was like a ghost hunter. So she would
Yeah.
clear, she would take photos and she would clear energies, and you could actually see the ghost, like you could see the energy.
yeah.
So it's fascinating to me.
Yeah, Jerome, just 30 minutes north.
Yes, that's an interesting place.
Yeah, I go there sometimes just to kind of feel out the energies and such.
Yeah.
But maybe you should go there.
Yes,
And,
it's super. I've been there. It's very interesting energy for sure.
and have you thought about because I know death doula is like a separate thing.
Yeah.
Have you done any of that work, or were interested in that, or is it more of just like a more clean cut mediumship?
Yeah. I mean, the work that I do is really helping people to talk to their loved ones on the other side. So if they are trying to talk to someone who's recently passed,
Yeah.
it's about giving them those tools like I had to teach them that they're actually the medium themselves. So you don't need someone in between to connect you to the person that you knew better than anyone else, right?
Right.
Whoever that person is that you want to talk to. And so it's really empowering people to give them the tools that they know that they are the medium, and they just have to start to open that up.
Yeah.
But I do think that there's such power in, helping people not only to transition when they're ready to leave, but also to work with people in grief that are struggling to work with those losses, because losing someone is just a journey in and of itself through
Yeah.
grief. So
Yeah, I love that. I heard that this quote was like, grief is just love with nowhere to go.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So true.
I did have maybe a little bit of a taboo question in terms of, like, say when someone passes, okay, they have kind of a DMT rush, basically, like all the DMT floods their system, and then they experience kind of like that hallucinogenic experience of death. And I have read some stories about like different near-death experiences.
Yeah.
And how some of them are different than others.
Yeah.
Like some of them see a light at the end of the tunnel, or some of them see like our angel, or like, and I'm wondering if the belief systems we carry throughout our physical life affect what kind of death we experience. So like, say someone really believes, maybe they'll go to hell.
Yeah.
Like, I'm wondering, do they experience something similar of that nature because their belief system structure was so strong
Yeah.
in creating that experience for them? And like, how can we kind of set up the stage
Yes.
for a more easeful, peaceful death? I
Yes.
guess?
Yeah. That's a really interesting question. So the one thing that has always stuck out to me when I've been fascinated with near-death experiences and people that have had major accidents and then gone to the face of death and then come back to share the story.
Yeah.
There's two things that most people will always share when they have those near-death experiences. The first one is that everything comes back to love. And the second thing is they wish they had done what they really were here to do when they had the chance.
Yeah.
And so those are the biggest things that stick out to me, right? If we are souls that are ultimately going to the same destination, we're all on the same train going there, different speeds.
Yeah.
How do we remember that love is the guiding force of the universe? And how do we remember that life is a lot shorter than we think? And how do we step into that purpose of whatever it is we're here to do, and just not hold ourselves back anymore from doing the thing we're really here to do?
Yeah.
And I mean, that's been the most impactful thing for me. And it's really the message that I feel like super strong about telling other people, so that we can really do what we're here to do in this lifetime.
Yeah, it matters.
Yeah.
Time matters.
Yeah.
And how we treat people matters, and, you know, everything like that.
Yeah.
I'm wondering too, on the other side of it, like the spirit realm, is it kind of like how it is here in the physical realm? Like, you know, of course everyone has different facets of expressing themselves.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, like, in the spirit realm, are there also bad guys and good guys and like explorers, or
Yeah.
like, you know, can ghosts physicalize themselves even?
Yeah.
You know?
I think when we go to the other side, the most important thing to remember is your work is not done. And so you're always continuing to evolve on whatever your soul is here to heal.
Right.
And so I remember one of my spiritual teachers saying to me, when you reach out to people that you've lost on the other side, they're not just waiting for you to
Right,
talk
yeah.
to them.
Yeah.
Right? They actually have things they're doing on the other side. And so you have to also be respectful of the fact that they're on their own soul journey to try to get to their next lifetime, ultimately.
Yeah.
And so I perceive it as they're up there doing the work, right?
Yeah.
They're doing the healing, they're doing the evolution, they're learning, they're growing, they're understanding, again, how to come back to love.
Yeah.
And that's how I perceive it. And it makes actually it more meaningful for me to live here now.
Yeah.
Because this belief that we're just going to go up there and like let go of everything we did here. And then it takes away the idea of like bad and good, and it just is.
Yeah.
It just is what it is, right?
I love that. I was curious too, have you noticed within yourself kind of like an exponential increase in like your intuition? And do you think it's because of just these practices and like kind of living it fully has helped you kind of increase your intuition?
Yeah. I think when you start to own what you do with conviction, like you understand and know that you are an intuitive being,
Yeah.
you stop questioning what you know.
Yeah.
And you start to know that the signs and synchronicities that you're seeing, they're just a part of life, right? Things don't become so magical all the time. Everything is magical, but you stop needing to force things to happen, and you just allow things to happen.
Yeah.
And so when I'm here and these incredible synchronicities happen, it's just a part of life now. And it's
Yeah.
just something that I get to experience every day.
Oh.
And I think that's the beauty of stepping more fully in, is that you realize that this whole life is just one big magical dream that we get to live in, and we're creating it every day.
Right. And then you start to attract people who of the same frequency and everything.
Exactly.
And,
Yeah.
and then even just being around each other kind of enhances that.
Yeah.
And increases the abilities. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So say for someone who knows, say someone's watching this and they don't really know anything about mediumship.
Yeah.
And they are just curious. Do you have kind of a word of wisdom to give them in maybe kind of making it a little less taboo
Yeah.
to kind of look into as like this is just a normal human experience.
Yeah.
And people pass.
Yeah.
And we can communicate with them.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
You know, the biggest thing I always tell people is everything starts with your belief, and all the answers that you're looking for are inside of you, right?
Yeah.
That's the truth. And when you know that that is true, then anything is possible. So if you know that you have the power to do whatever you want,
Yeah.
then if you want to talk to someone on the other side, the only thing that's stopping you is yourself, is your own limiting belief that it's not possible. And so what I always tell people is, whatever you believe, you can actually achieve it. You can do it.
Yeah.
But you have to hold on to that belief like it's the most sacred thing that you have.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.
For being at Humankind and coming to Sedona all the way from Toronto. And
My pleasure.
lovely to meet you.
Yeah,
and
you
we
too.
hope to have you here again. And we can find you on Instagram. Is
Yep,
that right?
Instagram at Jennifer Spencer Medium, and
Amazing.
then the sound bath work we do is at pauseandexpend.com.
Great.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Have a beautiful day, everybody.